I drew us a card. So one of you said that you used to have your cards read all the time. And when you have the same card that shows up and shows up and shows up and shows up, it's weird. I mean, there's 50 something cards in this deck. I've pulled the same card 3 times in the last 2 weeks. And it's a really nice card. I'm just going to read the little bit of it, but essentially it's about awakening. We're awakening into something new. And it's time for us to let go of what we need to let go of. Not holding on, not ruminating, not clenching those teeth. And if we can't get rid of all of it, it's time to kind of chip away at some of it, because it's going to repeat on itself. So it says, for those of us attempting to awaken higher values in closed hearts that are unwilling to shift from more self-serving ways, the card is called White Buffalo Woman. She will come and she brings a message of divine justice. Ooh, divine justice. Oh, we know what divine justice is. You all have kids. You go, don't jump off that bridge. And they do it anyway. And you go, I told you. So that's what this card's about. It's like, don't jump off that bridge. We did it anyways. And it's like, oh, so now we're coming to the center of who we really are. The old is dissolving. The old identity is dissolving. The new is shifting in. And we can actually move into observer role. You know, it's like your kids, you used to get all involved in their lives. Oh, don't jump off that bridge. And now you go, oh, they're going to jump off that bridge again. Whatever. May their angels go with them, right? Right? So it's like you move into an observer role as you move on through. So take a deep breath, and I'm just going to read the sweet part at the beginning. It's called White Buffalo Woman. Hopeful heart, see her sign. Have hope, for you are pure of heart. And White Buffalo Woman appears as the divine sign of rebirth and harmony. She is the way shower who lives as one with great spirit. She teaches the practices that will free and empower us all. She heralds the birth of the divine upon a new earth. You are held in her heart, and you will recognize her beautiful grace of spirit in your own spirit. So breathe into your spirit. Where is it? Roll the shoulders back. Let the arms drip. Legs are out in front. If you're in a chair, legs are just comfortable. If you're not on a flat floor, but you want to be, don't judge. We just put the judgment away. Oh, if I'm in a chair today, I just put that judgment away and I just let my skin start to drip a little more closely toward the floor. Let the breath move a little more deeply into the belly. And just notice, have I been holding more recently? Have I been worrying? Worrying shortens the breath. Can you feel your teeth? Some of us are jaw clenchers and some of us aren't. And as you breathe, notice what starts to crack open in the body. Well, maybe some of the joints will be cracking, but notice what else cracks open just with the breath, just by getting out of bed and then adding purposeful movement. And then if there's a tight spot or a painful spot in the body, envision it as a knot. Like, I mean, it could be a monkey's fist, one of those, it's really tied up. And with 3 breaths, untie that knot in your mind's eye. Maybe the first breath just loosens it. Second breath starts to unwind, starts to tug. And then that third breath, you watch that thread or that rope unravel in that space. I call this mind magic. Untie the knot. And then slowly but surely start to let the head drift from shoulder to shoulder. Getting into side of the neck, tops of the shoulders. If you're a tooth clencher like I am, you're going to feel this more pronounced down that sternocleidomastoid muscle. If you're a shoulder lifter, you're going to be feeling this back at the tops of the shoulders. Maybe up there in C6. And then as the head tick-tocks, allow the hand to just come in, just the fingers kiss the back of the head and just slightly move. There you go. Beautiful. So if, like so many of us, your identity, so retirees, you guys are different. You kind of already went through your identity crises as you stopped from your working lives and your parenting lives. Those that haven't quite gotten to that point yet or aren't used to being isolated, there's an identity shift that goes with what's been going on. Next time the right fingertips touch the back of the head, start to reach away with those left fingers. Really reach and reach and reach. And maybe you can find a reaching through that right elbow and a reaching through those left fingertips to the point that you can get expansion across that chest. Breathe deeply here. Release that breath out. And then slowly off to the other side. Now that extended arm may need to move for you because everybody's going to have that tension in a different spot. So many of you have continued on with classes, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I commend you for it because this movement helps with our immunity. And in this time, we need to make sure that we've really got all of the cards on the table. Now take that arm, move it in, take those elbows and press them back. If your shoulders don't lift here, don't worry about it. Maybe come out here or maybe at the hips, but take those elbows. I'm realizing y'all can't, I'm blended into the background here. Y'all can't even probably see me. Oh, look. Oh my gosh. Hey, whiteness. But open across that chest, breathe in. And then bring everything forward, arch in, arch in, arch in, arch in. See how far you can arch in. If you can touch the thighs or the knees or the floor, beautiful. If not, don't worry about it. And then open up. Big stretch across the chest. Lots of breath here. One more time. Arch in and down. If you really wanted to clench in and down around that abdominal region and get a nice abdominal squeeze out of that, you're welcome to. This time when the breath opens you up, lift up, expand up. Shoulder issues come here or even down here, but lift. So the spine and the crown, those are the ones that lift. Oh, I'm holding the universe. Oh, Atlas ain't got nothing on that. Lift, 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 breathe in. Let that right arm drop to your side or behind you, and then stretch up, little twist up and back. That right ear shifts back if it can, and then slide up and in, lift, reach, and exchange. Left arm reaches back. Oh, yes. Open that belly space. One more time to each side, lifting, little twist. Now, if you're in a chair and you just come here and you want to do a little twist like this, you can do that. You don't want to feel like you're going to fall out. Lord knows, I've fallen off of many things teaching yoga. Lift, reach, and then anytime you want to just pause in a posture, pause there. Make sure that you're filling the space. So our old identity says, oh, this posture I used to, or this feels good, or da 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 da. Oh, but I got to keep moving because class is moving. Arms, reach, breathe in, breathe out. Release hands down on either side. Legs come to stretch out. Move back a little. Flex the feet. Point the feet. Flex the feet. Point the feet, and then singles, flexing and pointing and flexing and pointing. Just get them moving. And then the arms are going to go back up again. Plant that left heel. Right foot is going to lift. So I'm going to turn kind of sideways so you can see left, or the right foot is going to lift, and then make some circles. Beautiful. So holding up through spine space. Let those circles switch directions. Beautiful. Lifting and lifting, using your shoulders and your arms the way they need to. Flex that foot. Hold for one more full breath. And then everything slides down. Hands come to thighs, shins, ankles, feet, floor, wherever you need to go. Forward fold. For those in the chair, just make sure you don't reach too far forward. We don't want to fall out. Fill with breath. We might not get to leave our houses as much, but at least we can breathe. We have that ability. Breathe it in, breathe it out, and then slide up. Lift up. I'm going to turn just a little. We're going to lift right up out of that pelvis. Left leg comes up, and then we make circles. So I am going to tell you, my lefts and rights have gotten even worse since last year. So I apologize. Other direction. I've had this really weird thing happen. Some of you might understand, some of you might not. When I was in India, my lefts and rights switched. I know that sounds crazy. Flex that foot. Flex, reach, inhale. Exhale and slide down and in. So I know that sounds kind of crazy, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. My lefts and rights were bad before, but now I'm like, I have to really think about it. Ooh, oh, goodness. Breathe into that space. Whatever that space is for you, breathe into that space. Oh, there might be some residual identity with who we used to be in that space. Let's just breathe through it, get rid of it. One more breath. Slide those hands back up. Slide the soles of the feet together. Open the arms out wide. Flip those hands up. And then roll the hands down. Flip them up. And then roll them down. Flipping up. Rolling down. This time, flip those palms up. Bring the pinky side together out front. Shift forward. And then slide back. So if you're in a chair, shift to the very front edge of that chair. Make sure that chair doesn't have wheels on it. Sliding in and out. So we're shifting and pulling. Oh, there went the fox. It's a good thing my cat's in the house. We have a very pretty fox that now hangs out in the ivy by the chicken coop, just staring at them like television all day. Shift forward, hold forward, hold forward, hold forward. Hands come down to the knees, the ankles, the thighs, or the floor. Forward fold again. Get into those inner thighs. And just observe. We're just observing. You know, what are we going to do today? Who cares? Observe the now. Wherever that right hand wants to stay, let it stay there. Let that left arm open up. Whatever that means for you, put the judgment aside and just observe. Inhaling Exhaling, and then switch. Breathe into those spaces. Ooh, I got a space. Anybody else got a space? I got a space. Oh, goodness. One more breath right here. Both hands meet back in the center. Lean in just a little more, just a little more. See if there's any extra energy that needs to be squeezed out. We're going to squoze it. Next breath rolls you up, lifts the knees. If you're on a cushion, feel free to stay there. I'm going to turn sideways. But if you're on the floor, awesome. If you're in a chair, beautiful. But I've got my hands. I'm going to walk my feet out. I'm going to lift my chest, lean it back. Feet on the floor at first, and just a little mini upward boat. Just a little. You know, because identity is in here in third chakra. Oh, it's right there in the ego space. Right there. So let's let it wake up. Wake up into right now. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift straight up. Breathe in fully, let that belly relax a little. And then this time we're going to slide back, lift that left leg, trying to get that shin parallel to the floor. There goes sock one. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Anytime you need to cut out of a posture or shift it, change it, do whatever you need to do. Shift back, right leg lifts. For those of you that want to come up into those double leg lifts every time, go forth, do good. Lift up. Breathing in, breathing out, both leg time. Lean it back. If it's not going to work for you, then, oh, good Lord. Who am I fooling? I can't do that on a squishy cushion. It's just nonsense. Breathing in. Bring that heart a little closer to the knees. Lift and lift and lift. Arms all the way up if they'll go. And then feet together one more time. Lean it down and in. Curl in on yourself. Inhale. And exhale. Breath rolls you up. Shoulders roll back. Move my mic pack. Roll down onto your back. If you're in a chair, simply put your shoulder blades into the chair. Into that bridge posture, hands plant on either side of the hips. Lift the hips and then lower the hips. Lift and lower. So in a chair, you're just holding onto the seat. You're lifting slightly. You may not even leave the chair. Lift and then just hold. Find a holding space. Some of you like to reach your hands up and under. If that's something that you've practiced for eons, beautiful, reach under and grab those hands. But what they're telling us is so many of us have rotator cuff injuries that does nothing but exacerbate by pressing the head of the shoulder ball out into the rotator cuff. So if it's not something you normally practice, just grab the ankles, grab the side of the mat, one more breath. And then lowering down. Plant that left foot. Take that right foot, point it right up there toward the ceiling. If you're in a chair, you're simply going to point that leg right out in front of you. If you need to hold the back of that thigh, hold the back of the thigh. But if you don't have to, take those hands, reach toward that foot and try to make contact with the toes. Not hanging on unless you need to, but just a little press into ego space. Squish it, breathe it. Yes. Use the breath like a toothbrush for the soul. Lower that down. And then bend that leg, arms open wide. Let the knees shift to one side, little spinal twist. Finding breath. One more full breath. Let it come easily. A breath that is hard to take or that stutters means that we're too far into something. The body is perceiving the yoga posture as a stress. So we don't want to take it that far. Knees come up, center, left leg lifts, arms, reach, dive into those toes. So if you need to be seated right now, you simply look like this. So being on your back, if that's not your shtick, don't shtick it. One more breath. Arms slide down, T position, the leg comes down, legs go to the opposite side. Oh yeah, the head can stay in neutral, can turn toward the knees or away from the knees, whatever makes you feel good. We'll move into standing postures here soon. Inhale. Exhale, but we got one more ego burner. Pull that in. All right, both legs come up. So if you're seated, you're going to just do another forward fold, or you can lift both legs off the floor, or you can do upward facing boat. If you can reach up toward the toes, roll head and shoulders, simply slide in on yourself, and then take one leg and move it a little further away. And then another leg and a little further away. And the arms move a little further away. And then one foot and the other foot. And then eventually dead bug posture or reverse skydiver. Let it burn. Oh yeah, feel that right there. Breathing in, breathing out, ball up on yourself. It's funny, after so many months of stillness, this used to be comfortable for me. My hips are going, no. Breathe the belly into the thighs. If you're in a chair, you're simply just rolled forward into your thighs, or you've got one leg pulled up and tucked in. So if you've done one leg, do the other. Inhale. Exhale, and then up to standing we go. So if you want to do the rock and the roll, we rock and we roll and we hop up. You're welcome to, if you want to just stand up, because that's just what you're going to do. Ooh, made it. I didn't die. It's good. Beautiful. Once you come up, if you need a chair for stability, I've always got my little chair sitting off to the side over here, just in case. To see what it's like to be topside. Move through the ankles a little bit. I know we get out of bed and we start moving, but they're kind of methodical, habitual things. Some of us do some exercises before we actually leave the bed. Some of us got to put our feet on the floor, then we got to push off the bed, then we're going to walk over. We're going to go to the bathroom. We're going to wash our hands. We're going to brush our teeth. But that doesn't necessarily get into the ankles, moving out, moving forward, moving out, moving forward. So those habits that we have are created and embedded in the body, one more time, and they're also part of our identity, my habitual identity. Feet hip width apart, hip bones, femur bones, kneecaps, shins, ankles, shoulders, up and back, dripping toward the floor again. Find the breath. And now drop a little pebble somewhere down there between your feet. And if you've been to Renfest or you've been to, one of those things where they do the strongman thing, ding, and the little thing jumps up and hits the bell. I want you to have a little pebble or a little diamond or who knows, something down there by your feet. Every time you breathe in, I want you to pick that pebble up, hit the crown of your head with it, and then drop it back down on the floor. Not to hyperventilate, but lift it and then purposefully lower it back down to the ground. Lift it. Put that pebble back down. One more time. Lift, hit the crown of that head, let that pebble drop back down, and it is magically going to move with your right foot now. We're going to take that right foot. I'm going to turn around real quick for those that are directionally challenged. I'm going to turn my toes out. That pebble went with my right foot. I'm going to step into a warrior posture as best as I can. If you're on your mat, straightforward, just step back. Take those arms, place them out. Belly button draws in. Okay, that's going to help tuck that tailbone ever so slightly. Not tuck so that I have a little hook in it, but tuck it so that I'm balanced. And that pebble is over that by that foot. Breathe it up to the crown of the head. And put that pebble down. Breathe that pebble up. Put that pebble back down. Third breath, breathe it up. And then let it settle back down by the foot. And then anything about this posture that you don't identify with, put it away. If it hurts the shoulders, put the arms down. If that knee is screaming, straighten that leg. Whatever you can't honestly deal with in this moment, either adjust it or put it away. Inhale. Exhale, straighten that front leg. That right hand dips toward the knee. If you need that chair, so I'll show you. If you need to dip into a chair, dip into a chair. That forearm can come in. You can really stretch this posture out. So those of you that you just know this is the posture that you need today, take that posture and really get into it. And then that pebble or that diamond is down by that foot. Breathe it up to the crown of the head. Put it down. Breathe it up. Put it down. One more time. Breathe it up. Put it down. Let those arms level. Turn those toes in, hands to belly. Just feel the breath. Let the posture settle in. We don't want to use yoga as a way to put ourselves back on the hamster wheel. This is a process by which we're supposed to transcend our humanity. But a lot of us tend to use it to perpetuate some of the things that we already do, some of those habits. I'm going to take that leg, turn it out. So left leg, bend it, slice it out. Beautiful. So now we've got that left leg out. We're slicing in. The pebble transfers over to this foot. And then breathe that pebble up to the crown of the head. If you need to hear the ding noise in your head, I totally understand. So you breathe it up. Ding. It goes back down. Breathe it up. Put it back down. Breathe it up. Slowly put that breath back down. And then whatever needs to burn away from this posture, burn it away. Straighten the leg, get a little deeper. Maybe the ego needs to burn with the power of the quads and the glutes and the hands. Or maybe the ego wants nothing to do with it, and then we just straighten and bend. Straighten that leg, tip in. If you've got that chair, you know what to do. But really, you know, a lot of us have been more sedentary than we're used to. So fluid can build up in joints because we're not pumping the body enough. So if you've got some extra aches and pains because we're really building up in here and we're really holding in spaces, be much more gentle. Use a wall, use that chair, breathe that pebble up, let it come down, come in and out of the posture as you need to, breathe it up, come back down, breathe it up, ding, settle it down, let those arms come out, all the toes turn forward, forward fold. So for my chair folks, that forward fold looks like this, or into the belly of the beast down here, right into that seat. Belly button draws in wherever you are. So even if you're way down here, don't take this quite as an opportunity to let the ego take over again. Tuck it in. Pull it in so that you have a real awareness of those first three chakras, root, sacral, and solar plexus. Let that breath come nice and smooth. And then the next time that breath comes in, take that pebble with you. You're going to slide it into the hands. We're going to roll up. Lift that pebble right up overhead. Beautiful. Holding it, Hakini Mudra up here, holding that pebble or that diamond overhead, and then just take a little 80 stretch to one side. Notice what happens to the hips, because what happens a lot of times is we let the belly go out, we bend back like this, and then we're like, oh, okay, so what's happening back here? Ooh, we don't want to do that. So we lift and right off to the side. Lift through center, off to your opposite side. Find that breath. It's hard to breathe like this. Lift up center, knees bend, take it around in a circle. All the way up and in. Circle reverses, other side. Beautiful. Lifting the sun, opposite, or take it in that direction as many times as you want to. If you want to go in the same direction 3 times, yes. Your yoga is awesome yoga. One more time. Take it down, around, lift. Now use the press of the knuckles up, press of the knuckles up. For those of you that have shoulder issues, you're simply here or you're in front of the face. Heels are going to rise, heels rise, heels rise. Belly button pulls in. We reach and we reach and we reach and we reach. Squeeze the glutes, holding firmness in that posterior chain. Breathing in, breathing out. I realized I've been looking at the laptop most of the time, checking, making sure folks are okay. Need to look at you because that's where the camera is. Inhale, exhale, knees bend. Let that slide out in front. Bring it together in prayer. If you need to grab the knees or the back of a chair, beautiful. But we've got this big squat going on. I've got my pebble in between my prayer hands. And what we're going to do, it's going to be fun. I promise. I promise. If the knees are screaming, come up some until you can alleviate. We're going to launch right. Bring that left knee and that pebble with us. Now we're going to breathe from the crown of the head into the pebble. And again, breathe up. Release. One more time if you can. Hold on to something if you need to. Lift. Release. That pebble stays there for a moment. Shift. Come back down into that Utkatasana. If this is you, awesome. If you're way down here in that goblet squat, beautiful. If that works for your knees. If you want to flip this upside down into a crow right now, flip. Go. If not, simply shift like a speed skater. For those of you that want to shift that crow into a headstand, yes, do that too. You're not going to miss much. So stay where you are as long as you need to. Play with it. But then we're going to come center, shift to the opposite side. Pebble goes up, knee draws up and in. So if you're upside down, come down, rest a second. And then if you want to join us here, but it's not as pertinent. So we're going to breathe up to the pebble, and then drop the pebble. Breathe up, lift it. Woo, I'm going down. Drop it. One more time. Lift, drop. This time, bring the pebble down, feet side by side. Hold at the belly. What's the ego doing now? The ego is not bad. I was always taught, oh, got to get rid of the ego, dissolve the ego. It's not about that. It's about identity. I'm a yoga instructor. These are the things I do. And then I meet you. Hello, you. You are a grandparent. You are a retiree. You are military. You have this identity. I had this identity, and this is how you understood me. Well, what happens if any of us want to change? Then it changes people's perceptions of us, and it rattles our habits. Breathing in and breathing out. So if you need a strap to wrap around this back foot, want to talk about something that's going to rattle the identity a little bit, you might need a wall. You might need the back of a chair. For those of you that can go into dancer comfortably, then go forth, be flamboyant. It'd be wonderful. But if not, and you need the back of that chair, I love to use a wall here, because when I use this wall, I can really make good contact. I've got like a big frog foot on that wall. So then when I kick up and back into that foot, if I've got to lace that ankle, then I'm not wobbling all over the place, and then I can simply pull. Then my forearm gets to be my stability. And then I can actually play with my standing leg there. I can make sure I'm not hyperextending. If I'm in the back of a chair, very similar. If I'm going to forgo, all right, but right foot, loop it, don't loop it, hold it here if that works for you, and then just point at it. And when you're ready, lean in and lean in and lean in. Belly button draws in. So if I reach for the back of this chair and I can reach my foot, then I got to make sure that I'm not slamming that standing leg knee backwards. Went into this one very hatha style with a lot of warning. So if this posture isn't for your anatomy, pick something else. Breathe in, breathe out. One more breath. Pick the pebble up at your foot. Put it in your other foot. Release it down. And come right on out. Roll out that standing ankle. One thing I do like to teach yoga that flows. It's like telling a story, and the body really gets into it. I really like to flip into that hatha mode when we go into something that's a little more complicated. That way we get our alignment right, and then we're safe, and then we're not compromising one joint to save the posture. That's not yogic. All right, ready. Other side. Got that leg. If this is you, keep it there. Point at it. Reach. That's your dancer. Beautiful. Own it. Be proud of it. Notice if it matches your identity. Does this match who and what I am after all these many months? Personally, my hamstrings like dipping in a little further today. But it doesn't feel as safe. So protecting that standing knee joint, that pebble is down by that bottom foot. We're going to breathe that pebble up into the other foot. We're going to release it back down and then release the whole posture and roll out the standing leg. Lots of breath. Let the breath shift those shoulders back. Nice. So I'm going to turn sideways. I'm going to take both arms. I'm going to send them behind me. Shoulder blades roll together and back. Got a little bend in the knees at first. Okay. Belly button draws in, because this is like, if I can plug this into my spine, then this whole core space firms up. It protects that lordosis so I don't take the tail and throw it too far back. My wings are out back, pinky side up, shoulder blades together. I'm going to take that right foot, shift it back, and then shift and shift and shift. Foot mobility, a lot of balance going on here. If this is too much for pressure on the heel, shift it, switch it, come back into that front leg, lift that back heel if you can, making a nice long line from the crown of the head to the heel. And now that pebble is down by that standing foot. Breathe it up to the crown of the head. Release it back down to the foot. Put that back foot down. Lift those arms. Front toes come up if they can. Plant that foot. Slide down toward the ankle. If you need to slide down into that chair, slide to the chair. If you need to slide down into the floor, come right on down. Pyramid pose. Breathing in and breathing out. For those of you that love half moon, go ahead and think about transitioning that half moon. Roll that back leg up. Shift that top arm. And then the pebble is down by the fingertips on the bottom. And they're going to go all the way from the bottom to the top and back down. But if you're still just in pyramid pose, because those hamstrings need that little extra, marvelous. Those of you that love that half moon, really work it. If you want to kick that hand and that foot together back there, you can kick that hand and foot together back there and find the bind. Breathing in, breathing out. When you're ready to release, half moon simply comes back into pyramid. You take a breath, pull that pebble up with you in the hands, all the way overhead like a shining star. Or if it's a black pebble, it's a black hole. And then release, hands backwards, shift back into that little teeny squat. So nice long line all the way from that tailbone to the crown of that head. We have one more side to do. Breathing it in, breathing it out, shoulder blades together, belly button in, step the other leg back, shift, heel, toe, heel, toe, shift forward. Oh yeah, holding here or lifting. Nice long line, bend in that standing leg if you can. Breathing. Put that foot down, straighten that leg, slide down. All right, just like with the first side. Now, check in with where you go from here. My identity, my old identity, tells me that I want to go into half moon posture. Really does. I want to put that hand down. I want to open that posture up and I want to balance. The ankle pain I've been having with these various things that I've been going through, it tells me I shouldn't. But my old identity wants to jump in, wants to say, but you can do this. New identity says, it's just not bloody time. It's just not time. So if I want to hold here, I hold here. If I want to kind of get in there, I could do that, but I could do it with support. Find what works with your identity and then pause there and observe. while the pebble slides up and then it slides back down. If you moved into half moon, release it. If you're in your pyramid, take a breath and your pebble with you. Slide all the way up. Oh yeah, right there with that length, giving those three chakras some space so that things can dissolve into the now. Breathing in, breathing out. We're simply going to step the feet together. Drop the fingertips right behind the ears. Listening for messages. If you need to cup around the ears, cup around the ears. What are the messages? What is my body saying? Oh, my body is saying, oh, it's dissolving. My spirit's going, hey, look at all these gorgeous people. And release those hands down. If you can, interlace the hands behind the back. Lift the chest one more time. If you want to shift forward into a floating warrior 3, awesome. If you simply want to stay here, stay here. Or shift back into that foot, press the knuckles toward the heel. Little mini stargazer, breathe in. Breathe out, feet come together. If you're in that warrior 3, pop back up, inhale. Exhale, opposite side. We shift, we lift if that's the posture for us. If it's not, we hold. For a lot of us, this is enough for the shoulders. If just leaning back and in would feel just like a little extra today. Open the throat. Head comes neutral. Legs step together. Release the hands. Palms open. Find the breath. Drop the pebble by the feet. Breathe the pebble up. Drop it down. 3 more times. Breathe it up. Drop it down. Breathe it up. And if one more feels right for you, do one more. For those of you that need to go a little more and you need to get your handstand practice in this morning, find a wall. If you need a wall, go in, do some handstands. Flip your world upside down. That's for those that are working on shoulder strength and inversions. Anybody that needs a downward facing dog, add one here on the way down to the floor. Those that want to sit on the floor, where you're going to go straight down. Those that are going to sit in a chair, sit in a chair. Breath in. Do what you feel you should. I'm going to come down and just sit on the floor with you. So if you're upside down, while the rest of us settle in, notice what it does to your identity. It's like, what do you mean, my identity? Your personality, your ego space. What does it do? If it encourages strength and discovery, wonderful. If it's exacerbating shoulder injuries, oh, that's where identity can get a little screwy. When you feel that you're ready, start making circles. So you sit in a chair. Circles are so good in a chair. They're so nice. You can get a lot of mobility out of a circle in a chair. It's really good for stirring the energies of the spine. That Kundalini energy that lives down there at the base of the spine, stirring, awakens it. And when that Kundalini energy rises, woo, be careful, because it does not identify with squat with your humanity. Two more, just like this. You're still working your other postures. Keep at it. We'll still be here. Switch directions. We're not going far. Not going far at all. There we go. And then use the breath to move you back into observer role. Like when you're sitting at the park with a friend and you're just watching the pigeons. You don't sit around and go, ooh, I wonder if that pigeon's name is so-and-so. And are they having a conversation? Are they having a fight? You're just watching pigeons. So watch the pigeons in your body. Lift. Use the breath. And then drop it. Let the stone rise. And then drop. One more time. Let the stone rise. And drop. Just observe. Right knee comes up. Interlace. Pull the heart space in. If you want to tuck that elbow in and get yourself a spinal twist in, go forth. Be there in that posture. If you need to lay down at this point and do spinal twists, lay down at this point and do spinal twists. Absolutely. We're all going to lay down here in a second or just relax in our chairs. But we're going to wring out the last of these belly energies. Inhale. Exhale, wind completely to the other side. For that open twist, if you're pregnant or if you have low back issues, the open twist, which is this side, is probably safer for you to do anyways. The next exhale unwinds you. Straighten that leg out. Slide down toward the foot. Those in a chair, you can grab a strap and lift that leg out in front of you. If you need a strap here, grab a strap here. Just be you. Just be glorious and fabulous. Playful and mischievous. I know some of you excel at that. Slide that body back up. Oh, tuck that leg in, lift the other. Pull that heart space toward that thigh. If you want to do the full, where you come all the way across, you're welcome. It's up to you. Inhale. Exhale, grab that leg the best way you know how. Reach that opposite hand. Twisting in. I like to think of spinal twists like when you take a half of a lemon and you stick it in one of those little hand lemon squeezers, and you squeeze until every drop vacates that lemon rind. This is what these postures do. They wring us out. Opposite side, the breath exhales. We open into that open side. The breath comes easy. And then the next exhale unwinds us. Last thing, reach for that foot. So for those of you that have to jump and run, this is where you would jump and run. Otherwise, we're going to get a nice Shavasana and a little wee meditation here at the end. And this morning, I invite you to roll onto the belly space if you're on the floor. Breathe that ego space into the floor. If laying on your belly isn't going to happen again in this lifetime, don't lay on your belly. If you're in a chair, kick your feet up on something Kick those feet up, lean back. You can even transfer to the couch. We have that luxury now. You could just go lay on your couch. But if you can lay on your belly, lay on your belly. I'm going to snuggle up for our little fireside chat. If it's a little too cold, grab a blanket off the couch or the bed. I've got my little radiator heater going on over here. Floor is definitely sucking heat out though. But if you're going to be on the floor, belly down, check your head. One side is going to be a little tougher than the other. And for a few breaths, maybe rotate to the tougher side and notice where that starts. For a lot of people, it's going to start between starting at the shoulder blades. Isn't that interesting? And so follow that for a few breaths. And see if it matches your old identity. See if it matches the rise of the shoulders when we used to work or do heavy lifting. And if it does, just an awareness there, just observe it. And then if the head would be more comfortable off to the other side, let it relax there, or just head down on the floor. If you're on your back, just relax. If you're in a chair, chin comes down into the hollow of the throat. And as we settle with the breath a little more, put the pebble down by the feet in your mind's eye. And for 3 breaths, draw the pebble up to the crown of the head and then send it back down to the feet, clearing the channel, clearing the column. If you're a Reiki or healing touch practitioner, now is the time that you would want to throw those symbols on over the body or into painful places or into places where you want to be free. For our constant healing process, as you settle and settle and settle a little more, there's a prayer that goes with White Buffalo Woman. Such is your love, O Spirit, that our every human need is anticipated. And in times when we have lost our way, you send us a Savior, one who loves us with such passion and purity that they are moved to action on our behalf. May we open our hearts to such saving grace and truly embrace your ways, O Spirit, bringing the harmony of heaven to earth through my own free will and divine grace. Swaha, and so it is. And with the next breath, go into observing role, find spirit, hold hands, and just be. If you need to stay where you are, stay where you are. If the breath wants to come a little deeper, then breathe that little stone from the feet right up into the heart. And drop it down. Breathe the stone up to the heart. Slide it back to the feet. This time, that little precious stone slides to the heart, sinks in. It's just a little source to snuggle with later, a little place to return to, a little gift of the soul. If the body is ready to twist and move and sit up, you're welcome to. Otherwise, just be in your space, be in your moment. Take a breath in. Fan the flames of the heart. We have been so many people in this lifetime. Enjoy who you are right now. Fan the flames of the heart. Sigh it out. With this breath in, we shall om it out 3 times. Inhale. Inhale. Third breath. Gather in at the heart. I am grateful to all of those of you that showed up today. Showing up in your own lives. Oh, yes. I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and you know I would snuggle you if we were allowed to be any closer than 6 feet apart. Someday. All right, beautiful people, every Tuesday.